Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Do I have a stacked show for you today on a Friday after the wonderful Christmas holiday, ladies and gentlemen? Mike Rogers, former NSA director, and who may be a white knight in the Spygate scandal, is talking, but what exactly is Mike Rogers saying to the investigators? This has been an open question for me for the past 2 years. I got that. More evidence the impeachment farce is blowing up in their face. Leftist media is actually turning on Roswell Rachel and maybe Chuck Todd and the Russian collusion hoaxers too. It's going to be a loaded lineup today. Welcome to the Dan Bongino Show. Producer Joe, how are you today? Fine, sir.
It's Friday, so I'm doing great, and it is a loaded lineup.
I have to tell you, though, this is the Tuesday-iest Friday we've ever seen.
Yes.
Because of the 2 days off, it feels like Tuesday. It's a very Tuesday Friday, which is good because Tuesday and Thursdays are always our most listened to shows.
It really
so
feels
maybe
weird.
Today.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it? It's the Tuesday-iest Friday ever. All right, let's get right to it. Today's show brought to you by our good friends at Helix Sleep. Listen, thankfully, I have a Helix Sleep mattress. Let me tell you why. Last night, in the middle of the night, my oldest daughter came running in a panic. Daddy, my oldest, not my youngest, you got to kill this bug. I'm expecting to walk into her bathroom and see a monster palmetto, maybe a mutated spider that's like 6 feet tall. What was it, folks? It was a mosquito hawk, which is not even scary. It's not even like a real bug. It's like a fake bug. Don't they like attack mosquitoes?
Yeah, man.
Bottom line is I had a tough time going back to sleep. If I didn't have my Helix Sleep mattress, I would have never went back to sleep. Helix Sleep, why is their mattress so good? Because they have a quiz that takes 2 minutes to complete. It matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. You a side sleeper like me, a hot sleeper like me, you like a plush or a firm bed? I like it a little firm. With Helix, there's no guesswork, no more confusion, and no more compromising. Helix Sleep is rated the #1 mattress by GQ and Wired Magazine. If you need a new mattress, if you're thinking about a new mattress and you're not going to Helix, forget it. You already made a mistake. Go to helixsleep.com/Dan. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz. Get a mattress customized to you for the best sleep of your entire life. They have a 10-year warranty. You get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick the mattress up for you if you don't love it. You will. Don't even worry about it. Right now, Helix Sleep is offering $200 off all mattresses for our listeners. Go to Helix, Helix, sleep.com/Dan. HelixSleep.com/Dan for up to $200 off your mattress order. HelixSleep.com/Dan. Go today. You will not regret it. We love this mattress in our house. All right, Joe, let's go. Ding, ding. So before we get to I'm going to call it unanswered Spygate questions. That's going to focus on Mike Rogers and what Mike Rogers may be saying and what Mike Rogers' role in the exposing of the Spygate scandal will be, because there's a big controversy about that. I want to get to a few stories first. First, I want to tee this whole thing up by talking about how even leftist media hacks, who are no friends of ours, believe me, I'm not giving them any credit. These are people who could have seen through this Russian collusion hoax a long time ago. What's happening now, folks, so you understand how I set the table, is leftist media hacks are starting to realize that history is going to humiliate them. In other words, Joe, being on the wrong side of the Russian collusion hoax and telling people the dossier was real and collusion was real, it's now starting to come out that you're a moron. I don't know any other way to say it. You know what I'm saying, Joe?
Yes.
I always use this example, and forgive me for the regular listeners, and Joe's probably heard this 1,000 times. But having grown up in New York City, it reminds me of the David Dinkins reign as mayor. David Dinkins was one of the worst mayors in the city's history. But because he was the first black mayor, there was this loyalty amongst liberal media types where they felt the need to constantly defend him. The city was falling apart. Nothing to do with him being black or white. The city was just in terrible condition. He was a liberal. Liberalism hurts everyone. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. It's just terrible. Bottom line is, after Rudy Giuliani got into office and the city turned around and people started to notice streets got cleaner, crime rate was lower, the economy was booming, the media started to say to themselves, guys, we're going to look like idiots here in New York if we don't start to recognize that Dinkins was terrible and Giuliani turned it around. In other words, you can lie to the people for so long, and then after a while, you have to somehow save face. I promise you, you are seeing that turn now. Now, this is not, please, This is in no way meant to save these lunatics. They're all hacks. They lied to you forever. They know they lied to you, and they thought they could cover the lie almost in perpetuity. But now they're starting to figure out, okay, let's see. If I come out and turn on this person first, maybe history will save me. You get it? In other words, the collusion hoaxers are saying, if we turn on the biggest collusion hoaxers first, maybe history will say, okay, well, that guy was a collusion hoaxer, but at least he turned on the bigger collusion hoaxers first, and therefore he's okay.
Oh, yeah,
you dig?
Yeah.
You get it, right, Joe?
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
So what's the evidence of this? Legal Insurrection, one of my favorite websites, run by the excellent William Jacobson, has a piece up today. Be in the show notes. Always a must read. Go to Bongino.com/newsletter. Subscribe. We'll send the show notes to the show right to you, okay? Piece up by William Jacobson. Again, we ask, why isn't Rachel Maddow treated like other crazy conspiracy theorists? The gist of this piece is this. If you read it, it's worth your time. William Jacobson, I have a screenshot from it in a moment, but Jacobson covers how other leftist media types are now starting to turn on Rachel Maddow, who, Joe, on the... how do we describe it? Totem pole of collusion hoaxers, right?
Yeah.
Rachel Maddow was at the top. She pumped the dossier every night. It was great. Pieces of it were verified. It's going to be verified. This is legit. Trump's working with Russia. Maddow, as Sean calls her, Sean Hannity, which is a great line. Roswell Rach was pumping this thing every night. So even media types who only mildly promoted the collusion hoax, although they knew it was false, are now getting a pass to turn on her, figuring they can save themselves. So this piece just mentions a few. Put up the screenshot from that piece. One of them is from The Guardian, a Ross Barkan, and the other one is Eric Wemple of The Washington Post. So here's a quote from this Slate piece. Maddow was not only certain that Russians had rigged the election, false. On air, she would talk about the, quote, continuing operation, the idea that the Kremlin was controlling the Trump presidency itself. This is laughable stuff. In more sober times, this brand of analysis would barely cut it on a far-right podcast. In the Trump era, it was ratings gold. Maddow was much smarter than this, but the siren song of ratings is too difficult for a TV personality to ignore, especially when a television network is transformed from an also-ran, talking about NBC, into a contender. And Maddow's ratings were great. They're now collapsing because people realize they've been lied to. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Wemple of The Washington Post, who, again, is not into like truth and journalism and investigative reporting. He's a hoaxer, too. Did a scathing, brutal takedown of Rachel Maddow. Yes, not the Washington Times, which is a good outlet. The Washington Post, a hack, fake, causing the darkness they say democracy dies in. Remember, democracy dies in the darkness? They turn the lights out. Wemple in the Washington Post, I'm telling you, did a brutal, savage takedown of Rachel Maddow. Again, this guy deserves no applause. He was like the information that the dossier was fake and the collusion hoax was a hoax was available to anyone 2 years ago, but they just didn't have the guts to do it then. So this guy deserves no applause. I'm simply suggesting to you that there is a totem pole of hoaxers, and the people at the top who were promoting the hoax the most are going to start to be cannibalized by the people at the bottom of the totem pole who think they can now salvage their lost, gutted, horrible reputations by destroying the people who promoted it at the top most. And Roswell Rach is number one.
They shall eat their own. Yes, it was coming.
Thank you, Producer Joe.
That's how a lot of conservatives are made.
By the way, you have your own little fan club brewing out there. I get a lot of, I'll have to send you an email. It's actually kind of fun. I'm getting a lot of Producer Joe emails. Starting to worry me a little bit. Okay. May have to start the Producer Joe show. By the way, folks, I'm serious. We have another YouTube channel for show clips. It is ours. I got an email about it this morning. It's youtube.com/Dan Bongino show clips. That is our channel. It's a backup channel where we just put clips of the show. Please subscribe to that, too. It is our channel. I got a question about that this morning. Cool. Maybe we'll put a Producer Joe show on there. People would love that, right, Joe?
Yeah,
sure. But a weekend recap with Producer Joe.
Oh, gosh.
But you get what I'm saying, right? They Absolutely, are going to start to cannibalize their own. And the people who only lightly promoted the biggest hoax of our time are going to start eating alive the big hoaxers, assuming that they can say later on when history calls them out, no, look what I did. I called out Roswell Rach. Now, notice, whenever I include the dumbest people in media, and of course, you all know the scale,
We do.
Brian Stelter, the dumbest, the gold medal winner of dopey people in the media. Chuck Todd is always number 2. We'll get to him in a second. The silver medal of dopey. Malcolm Nance, number 3. Some of you may notice that, well, damn, why don't you include Rachel Maddow? Because, folks, Rachel Maddow, I'm telling you, is not dumb. That's why I put that snippet up from the leftist in Legal Guardian and Legal Insurrection, who they quote. The problem with Roswell Rach is she's not dumb. She's actually very bright.
Yeah.
That's not a compliment, by the way, folks.
I'll go with you on that. Yeah, she is.
You understand where I'm going with this? See, Stelter's just dumb. Chuck Todd is almost dumber.
Yeah.
Almost. It's a close 1 and 2. Nance is really dumb. Believe me, I spoke to him in a van at Politica. This guy is one of the dumbest guys I've ever met. Roswell Rach is smart. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, she did this on purpose. Like, Stelter has an excuse. You know, he's a George Costanza wannabe. Like, George couldn't help himself in Seinfeld. Neither can Costanza. Chuck Todd's just dopey. They're just dumb. Like, they're just stupid people. Roswell Rach is smart. She did this on purpose. Now, you don't believe me how stupid Chuck Todd is? Look at this piece at Axios. Again, be up at the show notes and at BonginoReport.com, our new aggregator. We are taking over for the Drudge Report since they went left. BonginoReport.com. Axios, a site I try not to quote too because they're left-leaning too, but this is a good piece. NBC's Chuck Todd. Look at this. Look at this. NBC's Chuck Todd claims Republicans have an incentive to spread misinformation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is hilarious. And it proves my worn now out hypothesis that Chuck Todd is the second dumbest guy in media. And it is close, only behind Costanza. Chuck Todd, who maybe slightly below Rachel Maddow, has been one of the lead Russian collusion hoaxers for 2 years, dares to give an interview where he says Republicans spread disinformation?
Oh, dear.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is real. This is not the Babylon Bee or the Onion. This actually happened. Chuck Todd, proving to you, ladies and gentlemen, that this dude has no ability. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the dumbest of them all? Not you, Chuck. This guy has no self-awareness. Even Paul said, right? None. Zero. He has been the lead hoaxer for 2 years. He's talking to him. How about an apology? How about an apology to the GOP who nailed this story from day one? Not a quote that we're the ones spreading disinformation. Ladies and gentlemen, I may have to, because Stelter's really dumb. It will be really, I may have to adjust my scale and make it like a tie for number 1 between Chuck Todd and Stelter. Folks, there's a bigger point here, and you're going to see it happening. I told you this is not a, hey, look at me, self-praise. It's not. It's just a brief tutorial from someone who lived through it and ran for office himself. I told you 2 years ago, more than that the collusion story was an absolute hoax. You all knew it. It's not just me. It was tons of people who knew it, who were doing the investigation behind the scenes. Strassel, Sarah Carter, Solomon, Jeff Carlson, Chuck Ross, the list goes on. Lee Smith goes, forgive me for the Hannity, Levin. We told you, and I said to you 2.5 years ago, that history will not be kind to these people who are promoting this hoax. I said it. We can pull the cuts. Eventually, even the most far leftist radical media, which we're living with today, has to reconcile with America that they weren't telling the truth. You know why, folks? Think about it. It's not hard. Because we're not stupid. We're smarter than them. Journalists portray themselves as the intellectual elites, but they're not. They're not. They're 2 steps below where working Americans are who can figure it out. And after a while, they had to reconcile the truth. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this went on a little longer than I expected today, but it's important. That day is coming. Pat yourselves on the back. All right, I wanted to briefly get to this story about impeachment. I'm going to go back to the Spygate stuff in a little bit because there's some unanswered questions and some breaking news on that. But I've got a lot more. I've really got a ton of stuff to get to. No. Impeachment, showing you again how the impeachment fiasco has completely imploded on the Democrats and how Democrats, who are usually And I've given them credit on this. Their ideas are always dumb. Their ideology is destructive.